Yeah, so I visited this cool air and zoo museum. Not sure why it's called like that. Didn't see any animals, but this was Saturday, August 28th, 2021. The museum opens at 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's two main buildings, and then you can walk across the parking lot to some airplanes parked near the actual airport, because this whole thing is right next to the Kalamazoo airport. So I use the GoPro with the chest mount. It's on my chest, and I use my Nikon D780 with in a live view mode for pictures, and my lens was a Nikon 18 to 35 3.5 4.5. I was afraid the light would be insufficient, but the camera managed to take some great shots, as you will see after the video. I've attached all the shots I've taken, so they look spectacular. There was a couple of vehicles thrown in the midst, like this old car you just saw. Then there'll be an army truck later on, but all the planes were very interesting. They're all clean, and they have a lot of restored models. And this part of the pavilion deals with early aircraft, like 1920s, 1930s, and then you go into the kind of like Second World War, and then a separate exhibition is modern aircraft. Like I believe this is probably World War II era. But it was very cool. Very few people, because I was there so early in the morning. And I like the machine guns. Like you see the multiple machine guns on the front, in the yellow area of the nose of this aircraft. And I took a separate picture of that. I was really, interested in those machine guns. They look pretty cool. And like I said, there was not that many people, but there's signs everywhere that you cannot touch, the exhibits, you cannot climb on them. And so I saw a couple of times some old guy was watching me, like a security guard, making sure I was sticking to the rules. And they have some very unusual colors on these aircrafts. Oh, and over here, this was interesting. This was pretty much like a flying bomb. It's a huge bomb with own wings and the engine. And I like the colors. A lot of the airplanes were very colorfully, designed and painted. And then here there was some aircraft, what looks like on my left, from the Vietnam era. Like this helicopter. I look at the seat where the pilot sits, and it's such tiny area over there. If you're like over 6 feet tall, I don't think you can fit in there. Very small, very limited space. And all aircrafts, they have some kind of a storyboard next to them, so you can learn about the history of this particular aircraft. and they tell you the make and model, what kind of engine, how much power, you know, the wingspan, stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And I'm a trucker, but I'm very interested in airplanes because I grew up in the family of a military jet fighter pilot. My late dad flew MiG-21 as his last airplane. I think he started with MiG-15, MiG-17, MiG-19, and then the last one was MiG-21. And then he became a navigator on the ground. And this is a very cool, very unusual airplane. I was really surprised these guys have this one. That's one of those crazy airplanes that were built during the World War II for spying, and nobody could catch this plane because it flew so high and so fast. And I'm not sure why they stopped making them, because this was an amazing you know, achievement of engineers and aviation experts. So if you look up that was like I think it's still the fastest, one of the fastest airplanes, and they flew it in the 70s, you know, 70s and 80s. But I understand it was very expensive. Maintenance was very expensive. They had to shut it down after each flight. It cost a lot of money to operate that. And here is a very unusual airplane with the engine in the back. And in a second, a guy will show up and he'll talk to me about this, and it's quite interesting. Yeah, it's a pretty unusual airplane, right?
Yeah, experimental World War II design. I believe we're an early push prop. We only have a couple other push prop planes in the entire facility.
Oh, pushback, okay.
Because it's pushing from behind.
Yeah.
So this XP-55 Ascender, Curtiss-Wright built, this is the last of the 3 ever built. Part of it was, especially as an experimental design, the other 2 didn't exactly have very good fates. As a note, a lot of modern planes can stall fairly safely up to even around a few thousand feet. This one wasn't safe to stall even below 20,000. Because even from that high up, if it started to stall, there's very little way to recover it. All the weight, the engine, everything's in the back, the wings are set that way.
Wow.
And worst of all, the pilot had no warning if it was about to stall, just due to design. So first ended up in the Smithsonian, then 2001 here. It ended up here for restoration, and it's been on display since 2006.
Yeah, I never saw something like this before.
Yeah,
very cool.
It's one of my favorites because it's just such a unique part of experiment.
Yeah, it looks a bit weird with the...
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, like no... That's why I was standing there. I thought, wait a second, so does this have like 2 engines, one in the front, one regular one in the back? No, I don't see...
Is this your first time at the air show?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome. Whenever you're satisfied with this, that door right there leads to the east wing. It's a whole other half of the building.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, we have Guadalcanal in World War II on the right, Space and Aviation on the left, and it all loops around, so you can start whichever way you want. You'll end up at the other end.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
And here you go across the parking lot, and there's a few more aircraft there. There's this big gun. I don't think it's from an aircraft. It's probably from a ship, because yeah, it's too big. And then I saw this lady sitting over here on the bench enjoying the nice weather, and like these looked very unusual. You know, I never saw aircraft like this. I think these were something for Navy operations, because the shape is like they're designed for, you know, for flying at slow speeds. Now this one, yeah, this jet plane caught my attention because I couldn't find. I was walking around trying to see if it says MiG-21 anywhere, but that looks exactly like one of the Russian MiGs. I don't know, maybe it's 17 or 19 or 21, but all the signs were in Polish. And of course, the Polish army used the Russian airplanes, so that could well be MiG-21, like the last jet fighter plane my late dad flew. And then you go across another small parking lot, and there's a few more aircraft. Now I'm right next to the airfield on the other side, so this was some kind of a bomber, and I took a picture of that little storyboard. Later on you will see it attached. And then the last shot I took was this one, and then also there was another aircraft sitting off to the side at the exit, and that's what I did on Saturday at this very cool air museum.